Evan Kraft joins us on the God Rock Show right now. Good to see you. How are you?
You too.
Tell us about how it all started for you. You've been playing pretty much your whole career, haven't you?
Yeah, all throughout high school, loved music, and took a chance to go full on after university, and took a bigger chance by going in Spanish, which is not my first language, and so that was crazy. I studied in Spain, Costa Rica, got a degree in Spanish, and had a radical encounter with God my first missions trip to Mexico, and just stuck with it, and it's been a wild ride.
How did you find God? Tell us about your faith journey.
My parents were pastors, and but I really remember feeling called by God in such a strange way that like knowing experiencing His love. And when I was a kid, and I really wanted to serve God. I wanted to. I mean, it's not a crazy story, but it's my story. And I encountered God when I was really young, and I was faithful. I was working in the church, sharing the gospel in high school. People thought I was crazy, but we got like almost our whole American football team to come to our youth group, and it was just. God was doing some amazing things, and so I never expected I would go into music. I thought I was going to be, an engineer or a teacher or something else. And music, just the first thing I really put out in Spanish, actually took off. And so I said, Lord, if this is where you want me to go, then let it keep going, and it hasn't stopped since.
I mean, you do speak multiple languages. You write songs in multiple languages. Do songs or meanings ever get lost in translation?
I think you have to really study a language in order to know, and I'm very open to asking people, hey, does this make sense? I mean, there were so many times I would say something, and it was I would say a word that I thought meant this, and it meant something completely different. And so I've always tried to bring a well-rounded approach to writing in Spanish. But yeah, there are some things. Can you say desesperado?
Oh no.
Yeah, it means desperate, but that was, it sounds so much better in Spanish than in English, and so I just left it for everyone to learn.
Do certain songs work better in different languages?
I think it depends on yes and no. I think almost everything can be rewritten, but in the translation community, we call it a transcreation, because if you have an idea in one language, you can't directly always translate everything. And so, for an example is like, por si las moscas is just in case, but in Spanish it literally means for if the flies. And so it doesn't make any sense when you're translating it, but if you understand the meaning of what the heart of it is, you can say it in a way that people would understand.
You've been writing songs since you were really young. I mean, what prompted you to pick up a pen and start putting lyrics down on a page?
Both of my parents wrote songs, and it just felt so natural. My brother and my sister never did it, but my mom would go out to Nashville, Tennessee, and she would write when I was about 11, 12. My dad would write songs, and they were funny songs or whatever, and they both played music. And so I just picked it up, and it's how I really expressed myself in some of the worst moments of my life, some of the best. Everything always came out as a song.
You love to share your life on social media. Didn't you share the most intimate moment of proposing on social media or on YouTube? What was that like?
Yeah, well, so I was I was traveling around Latin America for 8-9 years as a single man. And people were like, "Why are you not married?" Because I was old. I was in Latin culture. A lot of people get married very young, and so I kept my relationship a secret for a few months until we ended up getting engaged. And I just wanted to let people know I'm off the market.
What sort of reaction did you get?
Well, people were joking around. They're like, "You're not gonna have most of your fans are young women. They're not going to listen to your music anymore." And there was I think people were actually very, very happy for me, and just we've been able to put stuff online to just show people we waited for each other, and just that value that we have, and so it's been amazing.
People stop you in the street. They talk about your songs. What's the number one thing you hear most often about the music you've put out?
The song "Be Alright." I think the coolest thing with that one is that it was a comfort to a lot of people, especially it came out in the middle of the pandemic, and there was so much loss and so much mourning, and you know, beyond just the pandemic, it's been able to be a comfort for people, and beyond Be Alright, people really like that the music's bilingual, especially people who are bilingual or feel like, hey, you know what, I haven't, you know, a lot of people who their parents are Hispanic and they haven't learned Spanish enough that they feel proud, like, hey, there's more people that are pushing, you know, my culture, my language, and God is moving in Latin America. So it's really a beautiful thing.
Can you remember a particular story that might come to mind, something that touched someone's heart, changed their life, and you thought, wow, I did not expect that from one of my songs?
Yeah, I mean, again, Be Alright has been the craziest song I've ever written, because when I went to a concert in El Paso, Texas, and I mean, everywhere I've been since I wrote the song, people will come up to me and tell me tragic stories. And hey, I lost my child, I lost my parent, I lost this, or like the doctor told me I had a brain tumor. And I remember this lady, she told me she'd lost her 3-year-old son, and she said, I listen to that song every single day. And you know, I'm like signing CDs or signing shirts or whatever, and she tells me this, and I wrote, you know, I remember writing the song and wanting to be a comfort, and so I just gave her a hug, and I was like, there's nothing I could actually say to someone to make it better, but I think the song was so powerful because it articulated the you know, doubt and fear. God, what happens if you know, they say you hold the whole universe, but like, what if I slip through? What if, like, you know, who am I? And so you know, people feel that, and it was very powerful to see, you know, that song is not like, hey, I wrote it because I want it to get on radio or whatever. It was just something that came out when I was talking with some friends, and we wrote it together. So that's probably the thing I'm most proud of as a songwriter is that there was a moment of transparency, authenticity, and intimacy with God and in my heart.
How have you been impacted by this journey that God's taken you on? I mean, you're impacting so many people with your music. How's it impacted you?
I'm extremely thankful. You know, I think there's this idea of trusting God, that He will provide and He will, you know, being an artist is not easy. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of risk, it's a lot of faith. And I've seen God provide, you know, it should be easier to do it now in English because I've seen God provide in Latin America, where I was the stranger. I didn't know anybody. I remember going to Colombia the first time and telling people, hey, I'll sleep on your couch, I'll clean your church's toilets, I'll do whatever I need to do, because I know God is calling me and leading me here. And so, you know, I've just seen God, like, as I take steps, just continue to pave a way. And you know, I love that the word says that His word is a lamp to my feet, where, you know, you can't see, it's not a headlight, it's not like, you know, 300 meters ahead of you, it's a lamp to your feet.
How do you like to encourage people in their faith journey? Of course, people come up and meet you and they associate, you know, their faith with the music that you play. How do you encourage them in their journey?
I think one of the best way I've been able to encourage people is just saying that there is hope. You know, I mean, I can't solve political issues, I can't solve natural disasters, I can't solve sickness, but I can say that there is a hope, and that hope is Jesus. And that's what, you know, I've had to lean on Jesus and trust in Him, and believe that, you know, beyond my circumstance, God is moving. And so that's what I try to encourage people to. You know, it sounds sometimes so cliche, or it sounds so simple, but you know, the truth doesn't have to be that complicated.
People are coming across this for the first time. How do you present Jesus to them?
Again, Jesus is hope. Is hope for mankind, hope for creation, and one of my favorite things is just the idea of redemption. That God so loved the world that He gave His Son, that while we were lost, you know, I think a lot of people today feel like there is no hope in the future, but God promises and does redeem. And so I think that, you know, that reminds people you're not done, your future's not done, that there is a hope, and you actually don't have to earn it. but it is being handed to you, and you just have to take it.